Hi, I'm Michelle Chalfant, psychotherapist, holistic life coach, and human just like you, learning to navigate life's challenges. With over 25 years experience, I teach people how to get healthy using the adult chair model. The adult chair model is where simple psychology meets grounded spirituality, and it teaches us how to become healthy adults. From anxiety and depression to codependency and relationship issues, you can use the adult chair for just about anything. Each week, I share practical tips, tools, and advice from myself and a wide range of experts on how to get unstuck, how to live authentically, and how to truly love yourself, all while sitting in your adult chair. Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast. I am Michelle Chalfant. We made it. We are in 2021, everybody. 2020 is over. Goodbye. We made it. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I hope you all had a lovely holiday season and happy New Year. For those of you that are new to the show, remember you can just hop on over to theadultchair.com, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff over there for you guys, all kinds of free things. I've got meditations, I've got inner child work resources, I've got, what else do I have? Journaling prompts for free, everything to help you get started on your healing journey today, as well as about 244 podcasts for you. So check it out at theadultchair.com. And we got a lot of offerings coming up this year because I am hopeful that this COVID is going to be gone by late spring. So we've got workshops coming up. We've got the Adult Chair Coaching Certification coming up. All kinds of great things. So it's all at theadultchair.com. Okay, so moving right along, let me talk to you about today's guest. Actually, let me talk to you about the topic of today first. What if I told you that you can possibly get rid of, or at least greatly lessen, your anxiety, stress, panic attacks, overwhelm, all of it in less than 15 minutes a day? What if I told you you could listen to music, and so you're not even doing anything, you're just listening to music, and it would help you with all of those things? I'm telling you, I've got the guest on today that has created music that's going to help you do that. We also talked about how she had awful panic attacks, and she eradicated, done, gone, just by a 15-minute a day practice. And what we discovered during our talk is that I do a very similar practice, and I couldn't agree more. It helps so much with anxiety and panic and stress and all the things. So I'm thrilled today to have on Cheryl Engelhardt. She and I had a great conversation about all of these things, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. Here at the Adult Chair, I am all about simple tools, simple ideas, simple techniques in order to help you to change your life. And when I have someone on that's offering a tool like music, that all you got to do is listen to it and it changes your whole emotional state, that's freaking crazy. You don't even have to do anything, you guys. You just have to listen. So Cheryl and I had a great conversation today. I'm going to jump over to her in 1 minute. Let me just tell you a little bit about her. Cheryl Engelhardt is a New York-based composer who just released her 5th record called Luminary. It's piano ambient music, and it's for mindfulness, focus, and growth. She was #1 on iTunes and on Amazon's New Age charts. She can be found in Insight Timer and Simple Habit. I am going to just jump on over to Cheryl right now. We had an amazing conversation. Hope you guys enjoy it. And here you go with Cheryl.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. You have a really interesting story. And I'm excited to have you here because music as healing is something I've never talked about. I've never tackled on the show. And after listening to your music, I get why it is really beneficial with stress, anxiety, panic attacks, etc. So I'd love to hear. And by the way, Happy New Year, Cheryl.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I forgot. It's 2021. Thank goodness. And the other reason I wanted to start the year with you is because I really feel like anxiety, stress, panic, etc. were abundant in 2020. I mean, my goodness. So, and I'm all about offering people simple tools for healing. And this to me is a very, very simple tool that people can apply like immediately. And that's what the adult chair is all about. That's what I'm all about. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that for me the removal of the anxiety is the first thing for me was really just noticing it, and when there's a lot of stress surrounding the anxiety, it's harder to sit and notice it and be present with it. And that's one of the reasons I wrote this most recent record, Luminary, was to not be something you can zone out to. A lot of meditation music that I was looking for was kind of like drony music, or like really pretty piano classical music, which would have me listen to the music but then not be present with what I needed to actually look at for myself. So I was like, okay, what's something that's not going to put me to sleep, like that sort of drony meditation, but also keep me present but not pull me into the music. And I mean, I'm all for a beautiful melody and a sing-along earworm. I mean, I'm a pop artist first. That was like my thing forever. But I realized that I couldn't find what I was looking for to help support this knowledge that I knew I needed to get present, but I also was having such a hard time doing it. So the music really has sort of pianos. It's all just piano, vocal, and a bell. That's all it is. But I reversed the audio. I plucked the piano strings. It was a grand piano I was working on, and made some interesting sounds so that it feels meditative, but then you hear a bell and you're sort of always brought back to being present. And I also was very mindful of things like how fast the music is, like the beats per minute. So it wasn't, a lot of meditation music is very low, like your resting heart rate when you're sleeping. And so I made sure it was above resting heart rate. So it's not something that you need a disclaimer for, like, don't listen to this while driving or operating heavy machinery. I actually encourage people to drive with it. I noticed some people said that they honk less when they're listening to it while driving. They're
Really?
just nicer. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So
Yeah.
does your music put people like in that theta state? So it's not putting them in the theta state, or do you know?
It wasn't designed for that. I do
Okay.
know that people listen to it while they are meditating, and it allows them to stay present. And if they're in that space where they can go into that theta, I'm sure people do, and I know I have definitely with it. At the same time, that's not a state you want to be in when you're, for example, driving or working. It's on a lot of work from home playlists now, because it is not something that's going to put you to sleep, but keep you present. So I have friends that say that it's the only thing they can work to. It doesn't distract them, but it keeps them focused. And I also have friends that say it's the only thing their babies will fall asleep to now. So
Wow.
it's I didn't intend for it to do anything other than keep you present. So the fact it's having, I think it's a record there where when you set your intention for it, it does what you want it to do, which is kind of
Wow.
neat. I just
That's
sort of,
so
as I'm talking,
cool.
that's the first time I've sort of articulated that. I'm like, oh, that's neat.
That's so cool. You know, I was thinking when I was listening to it, it'd be great to have it on the background. Like, and I just thought, can I put this on my Alexa and just let it stream like all day long? Like that would be, and I was saying to you, and when you guys hear her music, I felt like, wah, like my whole body was like, wow, I'm so in the moment and I'm so relaxed. That's how I felt. I was like, wow, I have a huge day today, but I felt like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the flow now. Like it kind of puts you in the flow state.
Yeah.
It's
I
beautiful.
love that. Thank you so much. You can absolutely say, Alexa, play Luminary. And
I can do that. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
or Alexa, play Luminary by Cheryl Engelhardt. I'm not sure which one will show up. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere, absolutely on repeat. It's really great. I had a fan write me saying that she's still going into her office for co-working even during COVID last year, and she's always complained about, just on social media because we follow each other, about her coworkers. She's like, you know what? I'm gifting for the holidays. I'm gifting Luminary to all the coworkers that I hate because I think that they'll become nicer. So I was like, that's a great tagline. Hey, here's some music to give to all the people you hate.
Yeah.
Like, what a great.
It's so true. Well, I'm guessing it puts us in our heart space for sure. I mean, it's beautiful. So, all right.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's like, I want to hear it right now. I need a sample right now. Okay. So I'd like to hear your story, because you went from panic attacks and anxiety to not anymore. So tell us your journey. When I was reading your bio, I was like, well, that's interesting. A town in Greece on a mountain. Does it say a mountaintop, or am I making that up? I just put
No, it's a mount. It was close to a mountaintop. It was a half abandoned mountain town. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would love to hear your story and how you landed here to the point where I can tell Alexa to play your music and it brings me in this beautiful flow, heart-based state.
Yeah.
So how did
I
it all
will just
begin?
on the flow thing
Yeah.
before I get into the story. I also, because I know you do like chakra work and other things, but I also, this is just me getting really dorky about the music. So pardon if anyone's not a dork, I'm sorry. But I love the idea that, we have our masculine and our feminine side. Everyone has them. And the idea that the feminine being the left that needs to be awoken before it can support sort of the more doing masculine side. So if you listen with headphones, there's a subtle, some elements over each piece is around 6 minutes. There's a subtle shifting of the sound from your left to your right side, not the whole track.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, the little so that when you if you can't see Michelle, she's sort of flowing back and forth like a jellyfish. There
Yes.
is actually movement side to side and front and back within the sounds to kind of awaken energetically and move through so that you can be awake and present. So there is some subtle stuff like that too. So I love that you move like that. I'm like, oh, I have to tell her that that's like a thing that I was doing on purpose. So.
That's so cool. Yeah, I did, because I was, if you're on YouTube watching me, I'm like, woo, back and forth, left and right.
I love that.
Wait a minute, I'm having a total brain cramp. What do I listen to sometimes? Like I'll have my kids listen to it to balance the brain. What's it called?
The 808s or binaural beats.
Binaural beats. Yeah. I was like, I know it begins with a beat, but the binaural beats, like boom, boom. And even doing I used to do brain spotting, and we would have our clients, listen, put that in their ears, and it balances the brain. Oh my gosh.
It sound
I love it even more.
Crossing each other out that are coming from either side. So yeah, absolutely.
So cool. All right. So tell us your story. Tell us how bad your anxiety and panic attacks were. Let's start there.
Well, for me, and I know there's a lot of different, anxiety looks really different for a lot of different people.
So true.
For me, what it looked like was about once a month, like pretty much on clockwork. I would have these debilitating anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I feel like I interchanged the term for a very long time. I thought I had a food allergy because it was it looked like food poisoning. Like it's gross, right? Like physically, it was very physical for me. And I went to gastrointestinologists, if that's a thing, and like homeopathic, and I got on the blood type diet, and I went gluten-free, which actually really helped a lot of other things. But, and like nothing was helping. I remember having a panic attack when I was babysitting when I was 13. I didn't know that's what it was. And then another one when I was on tour with my band when I was like 24. We were like in a jet, one of those buses taking you from one terminal to another in Germany. And I was like, oh my gosh. And again, I thought I was sick. And so I had like spotty anxiety, but I've generally been like a very happy person, a very go with the flow, very present person. So those words didn't really occur to me as words that I could use to identify what was happening. So all throughout my 20s, I mean, I studied music, I studied science, and I ended up in the music industry, working for commercials and then going on tour with the band and sort of doing the freelance film composer thing. And all throughout my 20s, everything, like my passwords for everything was Grammy by 30, Grammy by 30, Grammy by 30. So 30 came and went.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And
I don't believe it.
And there was no Grammy. And what I realized was that was the year that they really started to become regular panic attacks. Like I'm in this industry where there's so much unknownness. I was dating a mountain guide who I ended up marrying. There was a lot of unknowns and fear there. Like it was long distance, it's still long distance. Like he's constantly traveling around 6 months a year. So there were all these unknowns. And I finally went to one doctor who did a lactose intolerance test. And he came back, he's like, so you can drink 4 cows right now and you would be fine. Like you are so not lactose intolerant. And he's like, he was the first doctor, even out of all the homeopathic, everyone I saw, he was actual doctor sitting there being like, what's going on in your life right now? And I was like, oh, it's great. I'm a musician and I don't know where my next paycheck is coming from, but it's so fun. And I'm dating this guy who like travels up to the tops of mountains. I don't hear from weeks on end. It's totally fine. She's like, so I feel like maybe these are panic attacks. And it was the first time I heard the word associated to
Can you let people know what you are experiencing? Because I
yeah.
wonder how many people are listening going, I wonder if I have panic attacks and I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So for me, like the first thing that starts is like it's a feeling of dread. It mostly happened at night.
Hmm.
Um, and it was like a sort of just like a nervousness, like my heart rate's going up, like I was nervous about something, but like nothing happened to like have me suddenly, like I didn't like get news and then I had a panic attack. Like it was very subtle. I found myself often having them after I had a thought earlier in the day, being like, "Oh, I haven't had a panic attack in so long," and then I would have it that night.
Mm.
And so it started. It started more as like a thought and like a little bit of a nervousness in my heart rate, and then I would start to just feel like I had to empty my body. So if you want to get real, I had like diarrhea, and there was a lot of feeling like I needed to throw up, but I never actually threw up. It was always a lot of dry heaving. So sorry, this is a little
Mm.
gross. So it's
No, no,
very,
no. People want,
very
I want to know.
physical,
Yeah.
very physical, and it like exhausted me. So it was like deliberately taking me out of the game, essentially. So the
Mm.
next day I was like full on just kind of it would always I would fall eventually fall asleep, and I found all these things that like helped. I have like my 10 lines of defense, and they include a lot of lavender things, chamomile tea, hot bath, talking, writing, like they're just like acknowledging it, and now it's like seeing it. But so that was going on like pretty much almost once a month, around when I turned 30, through when I turned 32. And when I turned 32, a couple of things happened in a 3-month period. I got married, my dad died, and I had my first film score, which meant I
Oh,
had to be in
wow.
my studio, not on the road with my band anymore. So I had this lifestyle shift because I had been touring a lot up to then. And I also had lost my biggest cheerleader, my dad, and my biggest audience member.
Oh.
And so that whole year, I didn't experience any anxiety at all. And I think it was just because the grief was so much stronger.
Mm.
And at some point, I remember actually on New Year's Day, I was with a bunch of other career coaches who are all powerful people, and one of them sat down and I was having back problems, and he was like, "Oh, your back problem is grief. Who died recently?" And I was like, "Oh, well, my dad died like 10 months ago." And he was like, "Cut it out." And I was like, "What? Cut what? Cut what out?" He was like, cut it out. Your dad would be turning over in his grave if he knew that his death was causing you pain." Like physical pain, like cut it out. And he was like, it was like I was like, what's happening? So back pain went away. And he's like, the suffering, you can be sad still, but the suffering needs to be like, you need to be done with the suffering. So I was like, I sort of declared just then that the suffering was done.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I turned 33 and the panic attacks started coming back. So
Mm.
at once a month, and I started tracking everything, like fights with my husband, my period, like everything, trying to be like, okay, does it happen around does it happen? It was a little connected to when he comes home from trips, like there's a big transition of sharing energy again. I started to see that and talk to him about, like, I was like, okay, we'll do therapy together, like figure things. Fast forward to 35, 36, and when I was 36, I was like, enough. 37 came. I was like, all right, I'm going to start I'm going to go back to my science roots and like do some research here. And I started learning about gratitude and writing things down, and writing your favorite moment from the past 24 hours, and starting to train my brain to look for the good things, knowing that my default sort of way of being is I walk into the room and I see everything that's broken, and I go,
Yeah.
okay, I can fix this. And if nothing's broken, I will probably break something so that I can fix it.
Yeah.
So, and also, by the way, P.S. that does not work in a marriage. Like, so I had to kind of start to kick, like, hey, babe, how about I fix this? But he's like, nope, nope. So I started to train myself to look for, I was finding myself, okay, if I go around and I'm like, oh, what's going to be my moment of the day that I write tomorrow morning? I'm looking for that. So gratitude became a thing. And through that, I started learning about meditation, which I never thought I could do because you see how fast I talk. I kind of like can't sit still. I'm a doer. I'm, independent musician. I coach musicians. I write music. Like I've got a lot of things going on. I'm like, I can't sit. Like what? Sitting still for 5 minutes? No, 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 no. But I ended up finding this app, Simple Habit, and I was like, all right, let me try doing this. I'll do a 30-day, like little 5 minutes a day. And I'm just this morning, I'm on day 942.
Wow.
So that was, that's 3 years ago. And
Wow.
2 months into starting the 5 minute a day challenge, I had my last panic attack.
Say that
So
again.
that's 2 months into starting a daily meditation practice. I had my last panic attack. I
And your
tracked it.
and your daily meditation was 5 minutes a day?
It's 5 minutes a day. I've
Okay.
since gone up, and some days I do an hour. Some days I do a couple different 10-minute things, or sometimes I do 1 minute in the morning and then
I
half an hour
just
later.
I think
Yeah.
that's profound right there because and are you doing a guided meditation or just silent
I
meditation?
was doing a guided meditation when I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and then I started learning about just things that I can prompt myself. And so I do silent meditations. In the morning now I do silent meditation, and then and again they're short. I have my morning routine is I do 5 minutes of meditation. That same time I also started doing 5 minutes of yoga every morning, and so I'm on day 900 and whatever of doing 5 minutes of yoga a day. So at the very minimum, my blood flowed sometime if I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sitting. And then I have my own. I looked for morning prompt journals. I don't love writing in journals. I'm not a journaler, but I also needed a little more space than just like a line for things I was grateful for. So I actually created as a supplementary product with my Luminary record, the Luminary Journal, it's a half a page. It's what are you grateful for? Dreams from last night, because when you remember them, there's a subconscious sort of release of whatever the dream was trying to tell you. There's a declaration, a mantra for the week, so it's whatever that is for you. And then there's little fill in the blanks, like what are some things that so maybe you're doing like gluten-free for a month, or maybe you're no sugar for, you write in the thing and there's little check boxes. So I have this very short, it takes me about 2 minutes to fill out. So I have this 13-minute morning routine that I've been doing. And yeah, so that's the reason why I ended up in Greece, was because I had started meditating. I saw that it started working once I was about 3 months into it. I was like, okay, I'm feeling.
Pause. Before
Yeah.
you jump over to Greece, I'm
Yeah.
really here. We have to go back to what you said because I want people to hear what you said. And I want to hear all about Greece, but I really think this is important, what you just said, which is for 2 months, you did 5 minutes a day of meditation and they were guided.
Yep.
And then you stopped having these panic attacks. 5 minutes a day. Like that's huge. People think when they meditate, unless, did I hear you incorrectly? That's what you did. Yeah.
That is what I did. In addition to the writing the gratitude and the yoga,
Yes.
I'm assuming the meditation was the largest part of that, because
Yeah.
the meditations I was doing was seeing the emotion and saying, "Hey, anxiety, I see you," and honor it, rather than holding it down and letting it rear its head. That was the thing for me that I think was the key, but I was doing 3 things, so I can't say that any one of them, causation.
Yeah. So 15 minutes a day. Excuse me. Let's 15.
Well, yeah, 5 minutes of meditation and then a couple of gratitude and yoga. But yeah, getting a routine. And
So it wasn't more than 15 minutes a day.
No. Oh no. I think it was like 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who the heck doesn't have 12 to 15 minutes a day? Let's stretch it, Cheryl, and go to 15 minutes.
Okay.
If
let's say
someone,
15.
let's just say it's 15 at the most, right? So if someone has anxiety, debilitating anxiety, panic attacks, 15 minutes a day. And again, this is your life, but I'm going to make a guess. It could change anyone's life. And the gratitude, I want to pause on the gratitude because I found the same thing. The gratitude practice is key. And you said it retrained my brain to look for the good. And I really want to say that again. If I had a highlighter right now, I'd be highlighting it on my paper. Like, yes, our default mode network in the brain is the ego is going to look for what's wrong. What's wrong? You're going to scan the room. You're going to scan the people in your life and say, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with this picture? But gratitude flips that. And gratitude starts to have you say, wait a minute, what's good here? What's good in the room? What's good about this person, this relationship? And you stop looking for the negative. That is huge with anxiety, as is the meditation. And again, if you can't meditate in silence, who cares? Do a guided meditation. Go to Insight Timer, go to Simple Habits, go wherever you want. 5 minutes. And then again, I think yoga is really important too. But I mean, I do Asana Rebel on my phone yoga. Have you ever used that one? 5 minutes a day.
I have a different app, yeah.
They have 1 minute, 3 minute. They have these little mini, just stretch your body. So 15 minutes a day. Okay. Just wanted to make sure everyone heard that, Cheryl, because that's huge.
It really is.
And I know how bad. Yeah.
If
Go
you're
ahead.
busy, how do you find time for that? I'm like, when you're busy, how do you not find time for it? Like that's when you, like if you're like, today is so crazy and I'm not going to have time, like that's when you do the hour meditation. Like
Exactly.
you flip that on its head, like, and just notice. And I have days, even like last week I was like, oh my gosh, today is crazy. I'm going to do like a 2-minute meditation. I was like, I know the rules. When I'm feeling that, that's when I actually need the longer, the more grounding presence with myself. Like it's hard to do.
It is, and I'm having an awareness right now because the whole month of December, crazy for me. Like I don't even know how many hours a week I was working, way above 40. And the days, and I was working sometimes till 11 o'clock. I go to bed at 9:30, and I was up till 11:30. Like so much going on with my work. And I'd wake up. I remember the next morning would come and I'd say, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. I can't meditate. I think that's when the ego has a bigger grip on us and it's like swallowing us whole. It's like we've got to stop. And I say, I preach this, like and you just said it beautifully, like when you feel like you can't, you should double what you're doing, because that means the ego is infusing itself in your life even more. And I make sure every single morning I sit with prayer, I sit with meditation, I do a quick stretch in the morning, just like you. And then the gratitude. And I have an intention for the day. It might take 15 minutes. I agree with you. Especially the days that I'm busy, I'm like, okay, we're going to do 30 minutes today. And I don't think I have time. But let me tell you, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And it's peaceful. Even if I've got to work 15 hours, it's still peaceful. So thank you. Thank you for saying that and for pausing and letting me go back, because it was a big point.
Yeah, no, I thank you. And I think that there's this idea that like if we take that time for ourselves, that we have to sacrifice something else later, or we're not, if we don't get those other 15 minutes in of work, we're going to lose money. Like I don't know but it's like a trade-off versus, hey, if we do this, we're actually going to gain something later, and we don't actually know what that is. And to be open to that versus, oh, I need to trade this time for something else. Like just have it that time is a gift and it's going to provide you with something else that you don't know.
Well, and I think about the levels of anxiety right now in our world with COVID, and mommies are home with their children and daddies are home with their children. These kids are driving everyone crazy. I hear this all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I just need my kids to go back to school. I need them off the computer. I need them off the video. I don't know what to do. I'm fighting with my kids more. I'm fighting with this practice of no more than 15 minutes a day will change your life. Because there's no reset. If we don't do a practice like this every day, there's no reset button. There's zero reset button. So it's like we're go. We're like on a hamster wheel. You've got to stop for yourself. This will bring more peace into your life. I've had panic attacks. They're terrible. I don't have them anymore, thank God. But so anyone that's listening to this will help you. Even if you're just a little stressed with the kids or with work, this will help you too. So, all right, I'm done. I'm going to climb off. I have a soapbox that I tend to climb on, Cheryl. So sorry.
It's so pretty. I'm
going to climb down now and let you go back. Let's go to Greece. I'm ready for Greece.
Well, before I realized, so this is, 3 years ago, I started the meditation thing. And in that time, I was kind of in this mode of like, all right, I'll try anything. And so part of me was like, well, maybe I just need to get away. Maybe I need to get away from this house because I work from home. Maybe I need to get away from my marriage. So I just applied. I did sort of like the cowardice thing. I just applied to like a dozen different composer residencies all over the world. And most of them, you apply and then they have like a 6-month, you don't find out for a while if you're getting in. So fast forward to literally a year later, I found out I got into 2 of the 10 that I applied to. One of them was in upstate New York. The other one was in this small little side of the mountain, a half abandoned town in Greece, on the island of Crete. And
which one did you choose? Because how tempting! I'm from upstate.
I did both. They were.
Oh, you did? I was going to say, I am from upstate. Okay.
Yeah, one was
I wouldn't go there in the winter.
Year, and one was in October. And I live in the Hudson Valley of New York, so
that's beautiful.
Very easy for me to decide to just do. And that was a week. So it was 2 weeks in Greece. So I got to Greece and I didn't know, I think when I had applied, I was like, I'm going to write the text for a social justice choral album. I work with a variety of different social justice choirs. And then I got there and it was about 13 women and one other guy. And they were all painters, sculptors, like different artists. So I was like the composer there. So they were like, here's your room. And they showed, like, I thought it was going to be like a like falling stone, like we were walking past these ruins, and then they open this gorgeous door, and it's this stone room with a perfectly tuned grand piano in it, and they're like, this is your room for 2 weeks. And I was like, and we're going to do a piano record. Okay, so I scratched all my plans, and I had already been thinking that I wanted to create my own affirmations, again, going back to the brain training thing, because I realized there's something that I'm either always trying to release or trying to attract, like release anxiety, release negativity, attract abundance, attract love. Like we have a whole list of them, right? And so I was like, what if I bring that list of each one of those individual things and write a piece, a 6-minute piece. There are 10 of them, 10 6-minute pieces. I have a full hour. It would be good for a yoga class or a meditation that's an hour, and I have them go into each other. So I ended up writing Luminary while I was there, and each piece does something different. And I had to sort of work my days in around the cicadas, because when the sun was out, the cicadas were so loud that my microphone was picking them up. And so during the days, I learned that that was my editing time. And during the nights, I would sit and play the piano, just sort of improv and record and pluck strings and do some humming and vocal things. I also, at night, when I there's some, sometimes you can't even tell it's me singing. There's no words. It's just sort of like, things, and then I affect them. But I was doing this very high thing once, and Greece is notorious for its stray dogs. And so at night I was doing this like really high, and the dogs would start howling. So I would like have to sit there and just like wait for the dogs to stop barking. And I tried like very hard to like not take it personally. And then I would like press record and just really quickly go, and like get it before they started barking again. I was basically like dictating my schedule for the entire 2 weeks by cicadas and dogs. And then the next day I would take all that stuff I had recorded, and then I would edit it and turn it into the pieces that you heard. And then in the next composer residency, when I got back from Greece, I ended up doing the mixing there for this record, and then released it February of 2020. So yeah, that's the
it's gorgeous. I'm telling you.
Story.
I haven't listened to the whole thing, but the one that I heard was beautiful.
Well, thank you. And I realized that it was something I wanted to be able to listen to help keep me present. Because if I were to sum up like what really caused the anxiety to go away, was getting present to it and listening to it. And so I do that now for every emotion. Kyle Cease, who's a ex-comedian turned sort of transformational meditation.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
I did some workshops with him in person. He's amazing. And his whole thing is identify every feeling you have and then love it. So I feel sad and I love it. I feel fear, I love it. I feel happy and I love it. I feel anxiety and I love it. And then just giving it that voice in that controlled sort of setting so that it doesn't show itself later, which I said earlier. So to be able to stay present was really my goal for this record, which is why there are bells and things that make it not super like, hey, this isn't what I would listen to in a spa, because you can't zone out. It's actually designed to bring you back to what you need to be focusing on.
It's incredible. I mean,
thank you.
Wow, I can't believe all that went into it, because it's not, you're right, it's not just music. Right. It does so many different things. Absolutely incredible. How do you use music to focus versus sleep? That was a question.
So the music to focus, it's, there's a lot of science. I'm not going to get super dorky about it, but that listening to music helps brain function and all sorts of things when you're trying to, for example, do work, right? And we're all working from home and there's so many distractions, and the average person takes 23 minutes when they get interrupted to come back to the flow that they were in. So it's a lot of, how many times are you getting interrupted again? At times that by 23, like you're losing a lot of time. So
thank you so much for saying that, because I mentioned this when I hold my adult chair workshops. I say to people, don't look at your phone, because you're going to fall out of present moment state, out of your adult chair, which is what I call it. And it's going to take you 20 minutes to come back. So thank you for saying that. I didn't make it up. I can't remember where I heard it, but I'm not making it up. I'm like, you're going to be out of present moment. So wait till the break to look at your phone and then come back. Right. Okay. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's very true. So if you have tools to help you, remind you to stay present and reduce that time, like we're going to get interrupted because we're going to get interrupted.
Yeah.
But if we're mindful that when left to our own devices, quite literally and figuratively, we are going to, on average, take 23 minutes to get back to our flow. If we're mindful of that fact and have tools to support us, i.e. music that is designed to keep you present like this, then it's going to be much easier and you can reduce that time significantly. So, okay, I got distracted because I got distracted, whatever, no big deal. And let's keep this music on. Let's sit for, take 35 seconds and then get back into it. And, I think that's really important. And the other tool that I think is really helpful is to train by association. It's something I did when I was working on just getting rid of my anxiety, where I would only put on lavender hand cream at night as a trigger for my brain that we're going to go to sleep soon. So when I was feeling anxious, I could smell lavender, and I think my brain was trained, and I know that this is there's science behind this around smell, that your brain is trained to say, okay, this is the smell that happens right before sleep, so sleep must be coming soon, relief is coming. So it would actually do what my body needed to do to calm down.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So when you listen to this music and you're always working and you're in a flow state, or you listen to it when you're meditating, anytime you start to hear it again, you're like, oh, this is the flow music, right? This is the, you're not listening to it when you're like screaming at your kids, right? And then it's like the screaming association, right? So
it's a Pavlov dog.
Yeah, exactly. You can associate it with that kind of flow and use that to your advantage as a tool.
I love that. So then when your brain if you're using this to sleep, so if I'm using this to sleep, then boom, I listen to it and I just will fall right to sleep.
I don't know. Some people say that they do. That was not the design by any means. Actually, the next project that I'm working on, this is the first time I'm saying it in public, is actually a sleep project, because so much sleep music that's designed for sleep is very calming. There's nothing that really distracts you, because you don't want to hear a bell in the middle, right? When you're falling asleep, you hear a bell, which is why I assume people don't listen to Luminary going to sleep, because there's these little bell sounds. But a lot of people are telling me it at work, so maybe they're just heavier sleepers than me.
Yeah.
But for me, when I listen to that kind of sleep music, when I have a hard time falling asleep, same thing with the meditation. It's so sort of drony music that my brain is it's easy to go back into my to-do lists and all the other things and ignore the music. Yeah. So what I'm working on is a project that starts a little melodic, so you can kind of latch on to the music, and then it also starts at a heartbeat around, like the pace around 70 beats per minute, and then there are going to be probably 15-minute pieces that you can listen to and fall asleep to. It slows down to under your resting heart rate, and then the elements that are melodic start to go away, so you can latch onto the music and let it do the work for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of what, and the pieces in Luminary, a lot of them start sad, or like the one for releasing anxiety, you hear some dissonance or some things that are like, oh, that's not pretty, because I like that idea of latching on to where you are now, and then over each 6 minutes we go to a place that's more peaceful, or we go to a place that feels empowering, or whatever the theme for that particular piece was, whether it was attracting confidence or abundance, or releasing anxiety or negativity, or finding love. So
I love that.
Yeah,
the music is matching the energy of the emotion. So if you're sad,
and shifting it. Yeah.
Yes. And then it's pulling you up. It feels like I'm underwater, and then someone's kind of raising me up out of the water, and then I can breathe. It's like, I love this. This is so amazing. I love it.
Thanks.
Legit. This is awesome. I love it. Okay. Anything else you want to share with us?
Just where to hear it if you want to know.
Yeah, here, I have it right here. Well, I mean, I know. Tell us wait, I want to play. Can I play a little bit?
You could totally play a little bit.
Here,
yeah,
hold on.
Anywhere you listen to music, you can hear
I'm
it.
on YouTube right here.
Yeah, you can listen on YouTube.
This is called Sister of, I can't read it on my glasses.
Sister of Eos. That's the
Eos.
first track.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's all piano reversed. The
audio,
audio,
you're kidding.
Yes, to sort of give it sounds like there's strings and synthesizers. There's not, but you can go to
it's
I Am
really
a Luminary.
pretty.
Okay, so tell us where to find you.
Yeah.
I am a luminary. Tell us everything. Let's go.
Yeah,
We want to hear it.
IamAluminary.com. As soon as you go there, it says you can decide what platform you want to listen on, and you can go hear it there. You can get the journal there. You can download the CD. You can buy it. You can just stream it. It has all the options if you go to IamAluminary. And there's a place right there. As soon as you go there, you can actually get a free song and the sheet music to it if you're a musician. So the theme of the song. So that's everything you need to know. IamAluminary.com. It's right
So
there.
I love that. So you have one for confidence, one for like every song is something, works on something a little different.
Yeah, and the way to know which one is which is I do have a version of the record with spoken affirmations over each one, and that's also on the website there. So when you look for the affirmations, each song has a 20-second introduction saying what the title is about, because each title they're all very cryptic titles. There's a lot of celestial stars, Greek mythology stuff, obviously inspired by where I was when I created
Yeah, for
this.
sure.
But I found the one about attracting love is called M. Aura, which is the scientific name for a butterfly. And this particular butterfly, scientists discovered, is most likely to attract a mate that has patterns on its wings that are most similar to itself. So I love that idea of that the people we choose in our life are like mirrors for us.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that is such a convoluted, indirect way to why would you name it over? Oh, she named it a butterfly. But I'm like, there is a reason so that's the love one. And then the abundance one is called Moon Harvest, which is actually the cover of the record. It's like generating and collecting
so
moons.
pretty.
And so that's sort of, it's funny because that piece is actually my favorite on the record. And it's one of the ones that sounds a little spookier, especially in the beginning. And it's because manifesting is hard work. There's a lot, we have to get rid of a lot of our junk to make room for what we want to manifest. And so it's not this yay, abundance everywhere. It's not that kind of piece of music. And there's a lot of vocal stuff that's very subtle. I go over a 4-octave range. You hear these hums that go from low to almost sound like a scream, which it's not. And it's kind of just here's the range of what's possible.
Yeah.
But this is not easy work, and that's okay. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really beautiful work. I love this. I'm all about energy, and this is all energy. It's just, it's so beautiful. Thank you. Anything else? Any other place where we can find you? Anything else you want to share with us?
I'm personally CBE Music on Instagram and Facebook, and I love Instagram as a place to sort of see and hang out with other people. So you're welcome to follow me there.
Awesome. We will do that. Thank you so much, Cheryl. This was really, really incredible. Thank you for kicking off our year. This is a beautiful way to do that.
Thank you for having me. And yes, Happy New Year, everyone, and give yourself so much grace this year.
Yeah, for sure. And this is going to be a much better year than last year, especially if we have your music to help us through the year. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again. Happy New Year. And we will see you all seated next week right here in the adult chair.